2023 is finally here. Welcome to the Holy Drive. I am Jimmy Hanks. We'll be back from the festive season. I strongly believe you had a good time with your families, your friends. Yeah, I know it was festive season. I was seeing people posting all over. It was really fantastic. I want to extend my condolences to families that have lost their dear ones the festive season, those who died at Freedom City, Massacre Road. May the Almighty God comfort you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new year, and I want to thank God who has given me life to be here as your host in the year 2023. Big upon her suits at California Plaza, Musajja Anyamba Zokuja Kusait, and of course Musa at Capital Center RD15. The shoes I come on are from his place. Not forgetting Damas at Parkview Level 5. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that this year I'm going to be bringing different guests, people from different walks of life. And today I am honored to be hosting an amazing gentleman. He's an entrepreneur, he's social and human rights activist, and a motivational speaker. And he's the president of the Abavandimwe, which I strongly believe most of us have heard about, the Abavandimwe family in Uganda. This gentleman, I've seen him for years, and I've always wanted to have him and to have a talk one-on-one. And I'm honored to be having him tonight on the Holy Drive. I'll take a small break. When I return, I'll bring him on board. Don't blink. I'll be back from that small break. At this point, I want to take the honor to introduce to the guest I have for you tonight. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself for those who don't know the man I'm hosting tonight?
Now that's a tricky one. My name is Gashumba, born and raised in Masaka, where civilization started from.
Really?
Yes.
But some say it began from Mbarara.
No, that's a lie. Civilization shifted to Mbarara after the 1986 Exodus.
Wow.
When we talk about civilization, the pinnacle for civilization in Uganda, it's in Masaka. We can bet we visit Mbarara, we also visit Masaka. You see the difference?
Of course, I think Masaka's produced prominent people. Just can't even musicians. I think they come from Masaka, most of them.
No, Masaka has really produced many prominent Ugandans. Forget the musicians. We had the former governor, Bank of Uganda, Ben Chiwanuka was from Masaka. Actually, Ben Chiwanuka and the former governor of Uganda went through the same school, St. Francis Villa Maria Primary School.
Villa Maria.
Yes.
Masaka.
Yes.
How have you been, sir?
Hustle.
You look good.
Thank you.
You know, the secret behind you looking young, you don't age, you're just there.
Where?
You don't age,
Yeah.
you're just there, you know?
I think the secret is very simple. Living a life you want to live, working out 5 days a week, eating the right food, and as possible as you can, fighting the negativity. The moment your head is full of negativities, chances are high that you look miserable.
Sure.
Yes.
How are your children?
How what?
How are your children?
My kids are okay. They are doing fine.
You have, you're blessed. How many children do you have by
In Africa, we don't mention how many kids we have.
Yeah, but thank you very much for raising up this girl, Nabu Kera, Aisha,
Yes.
which is growing into a great woman. And I know it was a very big sacrifice.
Yeah, how do we thank God for what we are? By giving back to the community. But I stopped. I will no longer support individuals. 2023 up to the many years I'm going to live on planet Earth, I'll be funding communities. That's why I joined Rotary Club now. It's tricky supporting an individual.
You're disappointed.
Very, very. And for me, it's terrible. I can't air such stories on air, but I shifted. My mindset is back into communities. There is a school coming up. I can contribute a few Uganda shillings. There's a village that lacks a borehole. I can contribute to a borehole because it's a community project. But giving a helping hand to an individual, I stopped it.
I understand.
My father died of cancer in 2019. Yes. The many people that went through my hands, I don't recall like 2% of them calling me to find out how my father was doing. When he died, I don't even see 1% who turned up for the burial. We had a Christmas last year. I don't recall ever receiving a phone call or an SMS or WhatsApp message. Same with the New Year. So people that have helped individually, successfully and slowly, they are giving up. People that give a helping hand, they don't want to be paid back. No. They just want a courtesy phone call. I'm what I am because of you. If it wasn't me, many people would not have survived in Uganda. I know Ugandans that have helped travel to Europe, travel to US, many. But a year passes without even hearing a phone call. And it's you who facilitated their travel.
There's a quote I love so much. It says, one can pay back a loan of God, one dies forever in debt to those who are kind. You can never pay back someone who's kind.
People don't want to be paid back. They want to be appreciated. Imagine.
I meant the kindness.
Thank you.
For
example, if you picked up your phone and you called your P7 teacher, that I called to thank you, if it wasn't you, I would not have passed P7.
More like that.
You get it? If you called your OB, let's say King's College Budo or SMAC,
That's SMAC, yes.
that if it wasn't you, I would not have survived that SMAC. How would that person feel?
Very good.
Just a courtesy phone call. I called to say hello. But in Uganda, Ugandans are users. Fake masters, period.
Ugandans should change. That's a common complaint I've had. Ugandans, they deceive. Ugandans are,
and your generation, you guys have no memory sticks in your heads. You know what a memory stick is?
Yes,
Yeah. They live in the present. They cannot retrieve their past. So I gave up. I've done my best. Now I'm concentrating much on communities. Yes.
So Mr. Frank, let's go back to Masaka. Life, how was life back then in Masaka? When you're a young little boy growing up, how was your family? A brief recap.
My father was a polygamous man. He networked in each and every tribe. My father had over 7 wives. Baganda, Bachiga, Banyarwanda, Basoga, Bagisu, everywhere. Basically, he was a Pan-Africanist. And I was raised in a strong Catholic family, where values and culture was a must. Where we would wake up at 6 a.m. during holidays, work up to 7 p.m. Basically, our lives rotated on work and discipline. Yes.
How many children were you back then?
I think after his death, we realized we were like 37.
37.
Yes.
So you were raised up in the same home?
No. He had different homes. But we all knew each other.
You had that bond?
Yes. Actually, if you were not part of us, you wouldn't know that Frankie's mother is so and so. You wouldn't know. We are raised like a family. You would not even know.
That's so good.
And personally, I don't believe in this word cousins. In our family, we don't have cousins. We don't have stepbrothers. We don't have stepsisters. We are one. We are one.
I understand.
Yes.
So as a young little boy growing up in a very big family, did you get that bond with your parents, like your dad?
No. My father was a certified dictator. There was no relationship between we and him. It was only our mother whom we would bond with. But our father was the
Military man.
My God, he was tough. Every time we would hear his car coming, we would take off like a Ferrari. I don't recall ever having a conversation with him about what. You go to the dining, have lunch or supper, period. There was no linkage between him and us. But we've realized later that if he was not tough on us, I think you guys would not have seen us in Kampala.
Such a big family, it's not easy.
Yes.
To be a strong man.
He was our home was a military facility. It was a barracks where his word was the law. He had this saying that, okay, I can call you for meetings, but at the end of the day, the decision must be taken by him. You can be party to talking in a meeting, but it's him to make a decision.
I know.
Yes, very tough man.
He must have been a strong man. Raising up a gentleman like you must have been not easy.
Surprisingly, why do you say a man like me?
Yeah, because you've turned out to be a very responsible man. The one we celebrate today. So I feel like had it been not strict on you, probably you would not have been the man we celebrate.
I think I agree, and personally I believe the mess we see now, it's a result of the way we are raising our children. You get it? Ours, it was tough love. Tough love. He would pay school fees for all of us, and and would even ask us at the end of the term, out of 56, why are you number 10? You mean position number 1 and 2 and 3 were not there? Chiboko. And we knew where he kept his sticks, the chibokos. We knew. But we would not even dare touch it and throw it away.
Whenever he came back home, could you also run, Daddy walk out?
Never. You would see his car slowing down, take off. Never. Talk about what? About what? This business I hear pampering children, blah, 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 blah. It's a new generation. And people of my age, they will tell you it was universal. If you speak to friends who are below the age of 50, those from Kabale, from Gulu, from Masaka, they will tell you the same. Chairman Mao told me the same. I have another friend called Ibarondem, the same story. Another friend called Katabazi, the same story. They were tough men. We are what we are because of them. And they used to tell us that if you want to be a lion, you have to practice with the lions.
They are right, see, children's right, see, cannot beat a child.
For me, I don't believe in that. I believe when children make mistakes, warn them, caution them. But when it becomes a hobby, bring out the inner you. The first time, warn your son or your daughter. The second time, caution him. The third time, talk to him. But when he does it the fourth time, then you know this is Kamanyiro now.
So, based on that background, how have you been able to manage your family? Did you copy some?
Yeah, I call it tough love. When I tell the children, actually in my house, it's very clear. As long as you live in my house, there is no democracy in this house. Because nobody voted for me to be your father. You are here because of the mercy of God. If you want to run the house the way you want, have your own. But as long as I pay your school fees, I pay your medical insurance, I clothe you up, there's no democracy in this house.
Actually, I heard you on some show when some lady was saying how she beat her child. Then the child went to school the following day and reported the mom to the school. Then they had to call the mom to the office.
Was it in Uganda?
In Uganda.
Okay.
Yes. And I think that's really not right, I guess.
Well, how? My son or my daughter to report me at school?
Yes. Exactly right.
That's why I can't live in Europe and the US. I hear children have more rights than parents. Who loves my daughter or my son better than me? In everything I do, I want these people to be the best. When the children are below the age of 18, when he or she commits a crime, he's taken to Naguru remand prison. When you're above 18, upper prison in Ruzira or Chitalia. When your children perform well, the entire village will celebrate them. If your son performs well, like Lionel Messi, like Mbappe I saw in the World Cup finals, the entire country will own them. If Mbappe becomes a thug tomorrow, the entire world will abandon him. When he does better, mwana wafe. Mwana yatutawanya nyonga akula. You get it? So I know, at the end of that day, they have to fall back to their families.
So Mr. Frank, you're growing up in the village. How was life? Was your father able to provide for you maybe education, take care of you well? How are the conditions like?
My father, it was very clear. Everyone must go to school as long as you still want to go to school. And he made it from day one that as long as he pays for your school fees, he's done.
There is?
And he told us when he dies, none of his children should even ever dare think of dividing his land. He made it very clear that you can use that land for development, but never divide it into pieces. Because out of 10 people who lived in Buganda, sorry, in Masaka, our father, I think, was number 6. He has a chunk of land. A chunk of land. Yes. So he made it very sure that the moment he pays school fees for you, that's it. And he told us if we clock 70 years and we are all over Masaka, Vida Maria, eating roasted whatever pork, he will dispose of his land and lives a good life. Good enough, he died a comfortable man. None of us has ever thought or debated on selling off his land.
And I think at the point of his days, I think he was proud of you, right? He must have been a proud parent.
I think so. I think parents must, I'm the heir. I think parents must, usually there are many things they expect out of children. If your son or your daughter scores like 60 out of 100, thank God. Because there are many useless people in Uganda.
And for us, like the youth even was.
And I know people who have sold off their parents' properties. and none of them is doing well. I've not met a person who has disposed of the father's whatever estate and is doing well. None. There's one I seen him in Munyonyo every day. He walks like a madman, and his father owned properties in Kampala.
What's causing that?
I think the spirits.
So hard. After dying, kids start selling everything.
Personally, I believe we may bury your body here, but the spirit continues moving around. That's when I know it.
What advice to parents raising up their children in such an era whereby a lot of bad things happen, drugs, work, losing, kids are messed up. After you've worked hard like Frank Gashumba and God calls you, you start selling your things within 1 month, nothing is there.
My advice is very simple. Take your children to best schools. Give them values and norms. Create a social constituency for your children. If your children go through the best schools ever in Uganda, from nursery to senior 6 to the university, chances are they're accessing children from other good families. You get it? That's the most important one. The moment you take them to good schools, they should know from day one, none of them is party to your properties. The mistake we parents do now, the moment you put up a structure, you transfer the land title into your son's name. So this guy will be at school bragging because he has a building already in town. And the worst part of it, in the holidays, we don't teach our children how to make money. That's where Asians are beating us.
That is a rich man, you know?
Asians, the few friends I have in Kampala who happen to be Asians, their kids commute from home to school. They're in their schools. In the evening, this young girl or this young boy will be in the father's shop or a supermarket. Meaning from primary 1 to senior 6, this Asian young boy or young girl will be knowing all the tricks of making money. In Uganda, from nursery now to senior 6, our children are in boarding schools. Something I don't know if you guys know, you guys have really taken time to think about it. In a year we have 3 terms. Each term has 3 months. Meaning a year of 12 months, 9 months kids are at school. You get it? And these are the children you are leaving properties to. They don't know where to start from. Tell me one person who died 5-10 years ago and these properties are still around in Uganda. They are gone. So usually what I encourage parents to do, give children the values, the morals, take them to good schools. You get it? And live your life. Because I've seen many friends who have sacrificed their entire life. They have never taken a glass of whiskey or champagne, or they have never been into a holiday. The day they die, that's the day their children will start selling off their properties. You get it? So, to you parents, take your children to good schools, give them values, enjoy your money.
And why are kids from humble background excelling in life? You look at kids at school struggling, but after some few years, these kids, they are highly placed in these big positions, and kids of the rich are nowhere to be seen. They are just, they're just moving around town, going to big.
No, they are not rich people in Uganda. We have people who live a comfortable life. They're like 5-10 people whom we call rich people. Yes, tell me one rich person.
One rich person. Mr. Sudhir.
Another one.
Mr. Wavamu.
Another one.
Charles Mbize. Mr. Vitature. Mr. Frank Gashumba.
I don't want to discuss personalities here, but I will tell you there are very few rich people in Uganda. These people you see here, they just live a comfortable life. There's a big difference between being rich and living a comfortable life.
What's the difference between being rich and
Personally, I believe if you're rich, for how many years have you held money? For Wavamuno, he has passed it. Wavamuno is a brand. When you talk of Wavamuno, it's like a Coca-Cola. You get it? Do you know there are people who are rich? The day this regime crumbles, you no longer see them? Because they have access to contracts. You get it? The day this government crumbles down, you won't see them. The people I really respect in Uganda who have successfully kept money are Asians. The Metas, the Aga Khanis, the Mukwanos. It's called generational money.
Generation, yes.
But in Uganda, someone puts up a house in Nigeria, he buys 2 cars, then he booked the rights from Mugaga. You wonder. You get it? Yeah.
They have a few apartments somewhere, they start showing.
So to you parents, Take your children to good schools, give them values, and spend more time with your children. The more you spend time with your children, you get to know them deeper. Because there is a culture in Uganda where parents say, I want my son to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, but deep down into this kid's mind and soul, he does not even want to visit a hospital, but you want him to be a doctor. You get it?
So Mr. Frank, how did you finally leave Masaka and settle in Kampala? Because from Masaka, how did you eventually graduate?
I did my primary from St. Francis Villa Maria Primary School. It's a local community school in Villa Maria. And I remember we would commute from home to the school. It was near, it's a walkable distance. In the evening, we would milk cows, do other home activities.
Milk cows?
Yes, very well, very well. Then O-level and A-level I went to Aga Khan Senior Secondary School in Masaka, and then in Kumba. I don't have PhDs, I don't have masters, I don't need them. Actually, I always encourage Ugandans, unless you're a scholar or you're looking for a job, you don't need those PhDs. Actually, personally, I believe 70% of Ugandans should stop in senior 6. Ask me why.
Why?
Simple. Look at all these most successful people. They don't have those PhDs and doctorates. Let's start with Mark Zuckerberg. What's his level of education?
Didn't fit very far.
He dropped out of Harvard University. Bill Gates is the same. You get it? Let's come to Uganda, people that own money. Sudiru Pareria. He's not a graduate. Wavamuno is not a graduate. These guys you see owning malls in Chikubu, they are not graduates. Some of them don't even finish senior 6. You get it? It's about, there's a big difference between education and knowledge.
Talk about that.
In Uganda, schools teach children to pass P7, senior 4 and senior 6. And they don't teach our children to make money. They teach our children to pass exams. That's why you see, I think 82% of the youth in Uganda have no jobs. You get it?
After graduating, you're on the streets.
Because personally, I believe a P7 graduate who owns a mall, who owns a good car is better than a PhD holder who boards a taxi every day. You get it?
I do.
So our mind should rotate. How do we make our children perform better after school, being street smart? We teach our children to be school smart. You get it? Then after school, the real world starts the day you graduate. You get it? President Museveni, you know him. Museveni has never graduated. Do you know that?
I just hear it.
Show me a day, show me a graduation gown. Museveni wearing a graduation gown.
Why though? I've never seen it.
Let me give you another example. Professor Lule, a professor ruled Uganda for 62 days. Queen's Counsel, Bina is a certified lawyer. I think they were 92 days. You get it? Milton Obote, a senior 6, dropout, 2 terms. Fridi Marshall, Idi Amin Dada, P4B, 9 years. Museveni, we've never seen him graduating, 37 years, and he's still taking us. He's too knowledgeable. Have you ever had a meeting with him? You request for one.
I really need one of these days.
He's too knowledgeable. You get it? Now the question is, where are the professors in this country? Where are the people who have doctorates and PhDs? He's the one who fires the Giribadi Kenyans who are professors, the secondaries, everyone. He's too knowledgeable. Hate him, love him, the man is too knowledgeable.
The fountain of honor.
There are many fountains of honor in Africa, but the man is too knowledgeable. Do you know what it means waging a war on a sitting government for 5 years? And you convince university graduates, the Mugisha Muntus, the Tumukundes, the Besiges, for 5 years. He convinced them, they fought for free in Iruweru. You get it? So there's a big difference between knowledge and education.
That's why you believe in his ideology.
Believing in what?
His ideology.
His?
Yeah.
No, I disagree with Museveni on many things. He's extremely smart, but I disagree with him on many things. The way he's running this country. This country needs God's intervention. Everything is messed up. You get it?
Mafias, the so-called mafias.
Because he wants them to exist it. If Museveni says, I no longer want this, it will stop.
By the way, I wonder why. We complain about someone in the newspapers everywhere, but nothing is happening, nothing is being done. They just keep on looking.
Auntie, for him, what is after is ruling this country till the day Jesus returns to the world.
So how has your journey been of business? We see you.
Now from school, I made it very clear that I'm not returning to Masaka. I made it very clear. I rented a Kazigo in Namasuba. You know, you see where Freedom City is? Yes. That's where I lived first, around there. A 2-bedroom in Muzigo. You know what they call Muzigo?
I know.
For the first, I think, 3 weeks, I was sleeping on the mat with my mattress. So my journey started from Namasuba there.
Tell us about that.
So I lived there for some time. I worked for Bazungus. They were American missionaries. Thereafter, I went to Congo. I made some good money in Congo between 1998 and 2000. Traveled to US. I realized my dream was not in the US. I returned back to Uganda.
Uganda.
Yes.
You mean you went to Europe and you came back to this country?
Oh, Jesus. I've been to 49 countries. So you can, and even if there is a war in Uganda, I cannot run to settle in the US. I'd rather go to Angola or
When you go to the airport,
Ghana.
Sorry, the passport offices here, people are like this. They're running out of this.
The America you see on TV is not the America you face in the US. When you see the Schwarzeneggers, the rainbows, our generation used to watch it, Schwarzenegger, rainbow. We thought when you're in America there is a tree where you just pick money. It's the opposite. Let me tell you, even if there's a war in Uganda, I cannot go and settle in Europe or US. I'd rather go to Ghana, to Nairobi, or to Angola. Those guys, they put up a system that foreigners, you cannot penetrate it. And as long as you're black, in those countries you are looked at like a foreigner. You get it? If I want my children to live an American dream, make sure that from day one they live in the US. But you above 30, you can make it in the US? No.
Their culture is not easy.
Yeah.
Their lifestyle, the way they do their thing, I think they're not used to that. Tell us about the business. You're telling us you began from Freedom City around there.
Yes.
So how was life?
Life was tough. I remember the first, I think, 6 months before getting a job working with these Bazungus, you'd come in Kampala, bakaitanga kasiba, finding where to sit. I remember very well, time for lunch, you would get something to eat. Because we had no office where to sit, we would go and sleep at Kampala Sheraton Gardens. And some of my friends that we hustled with, some of them are generals in UPDF now. And life was so difficult to the extent that if I wrote a letter, sent it in to UK, you send it in January, it arrives in March. They reply you get a reply in July. But now everything is instant. You want an email, it's instant. You want to know the weather in California, my phone will tell me. You want to know something happening in Vietnam, you'll know. You get it? Those days, I remember, there were no these mobile phones. If you wanted to make a phone call, you go to post office and make a phone call. There were telephone booths. They were in yellow, I remember. You enter it, you close the door, then you make a phone call. If you are sending a fax, you would write a letter, go to General Post Office, send a fax. And it's not a long time ago. It's like between 1995 to year 2000. You get it? What I'm talking about, it was not in 1980s or 1970s, just 1990s here. So when you see a revolution of smartphones here, you might think the world has lived in such a way. You get it? Unfortunately, you guys are misusing smartphones.
I know. So you used to sleep on the streets?
No. I said the first 2-3 weeks when I rented a Muzigo in Namasuba, I slept down on the floor, putting there my mokeka, the mat, and the mattress.
How are you surviving? How are you eating?
I remember we would cook. That stove was called what? It was always green, and it had threads. Every time you'd switch it off, it could create smoke. You get it? In the evening, if I had no time to cook, I would go to Toninyira, buy something to eat and sleep.
Is that Commando back then?
No, there was no Commando then. You would go eat something Rumonde with a cup of tea and sleep. The following day you're in town. Basically, our life has been battling. It has not been easy.
You went through all that. What was pushing you?
My grandmother.
sleeping down.
My grandmother.
Young guy, the grandmother.
My grandparents migrated from a small country called Rwanda in 1922. They walked from Gisenyi. Gisenyi is the border of Rwanda and Congo. Went through Akagera National Park. On their way to Uganda, this is a story from my grandmother. They they came across two lions, a male and a female. A female was is it called breastfeeding? I don't know if that's what it's called in. And our grandfather was telling our grandmother to let's return back to Rwanda. Those lions are going to kill us. And our grandmother insisted, let's proceed. Imagine you walk past by two lions, a male and a female. They walked from Gisenyi up to Buganda. So every time I have a challenge in life, my grandmother comes into my mind. They came to Uganda with nobody, with no address. No address.
They just attack.
And the Uganda then, I hear it was like entering a Mabira forest. No roads, nothing. You get it?
Yes.
Now I hear people, you are going to Dubai, you are going to Abu Dhabi, and you are saying there's nobody to receive me. Go there. God will bail you out from there. So they ended up settling in Buganda. Baganda loved our relatives. The kingdom of Buganda accepted our grandparents. That's why Banyarwanda or Bavandimwe will always be grateful to the kingdom of Buganda. Yes.
They made you feel at home.
There's no place in Uganda that hosted Banyarwanda like Buganda. That one I know it. That's why when anybody attacks the kingdom of Uganda, it's an attack on us.
Actually, around Central here in Uganda, some places you go to, they speak Kinyarwanda and in Uganda.
Yes.
They're like Rubanyarwanda, like.
Yeah, we love our king. We've lived with Baganda for many years. We have no issues with them. That's it. And Sarafina, our grandparents, told us that you can fight any other person, but never fight the kingdom of Uganda. And we remember asking him, and he was telling us that no place accommodated Banyarwanda like the kingdom of Uganda. That's why the former speaker of Uganda was a Munyarwanda, Dr. Higiro Semajege. You get it? That's the bond we have.
So Mr. Frank, how do you finally struggle as a young little guy, maneuver through and go into the limelight?
Now,
we are seeing a very big person.
There's something that is new in Uganda where I hear Abavubuka. Our generation, we hardly know that word Abavubuka, that there is a special package, there is a special arrangement for Abavubuka. It was not there. It was not there. It was about hustle. You know what I mean? Serious hustle. So the life rotated on what you want to be. You get it? And we are lucky. Some of our friends are dead. I'm happy to tell you that I'm okay. I have no challenges that really are life-threatening. You get it? So, Limelight. 2005, I organized the first ever Villa Maria Youth Cup. It was in 2005. We invited General Salim Saleh. He was the chief guest. Chameleon then performed as a performing guest. That's how the small I tasted to be in the limelight. Then 2006, our father had challenges to do with his land in Masaka. So we drove to Masaka court to find out exactly what's happening. That's the day I met a young girl called Aisha Nabukera. She was at court, and I remember asking her, "What are you doing here?" She was crying. Her entire 90% of her body was burnt. I remember asking her, "What are you guys doing here? That we are here? We are seeking court to order my father to make sure he pays my medical bills." The girl that was at court in Masaka was meant to be in ICU in Mulago. So I spoke to the trial judge then. He's now a judge. I spoke to the trial magistrate then, was called Batema. He's now a judge in the High Court. That we are willing to help this girl. He said, if both parents consented, we have no issues with it. So 2 hours later, Aisha's father shows up at court, and the mother was already there. I spoke to them, they accepted. Then we brought up Aisha Nabukera. Because a lot of money was involved, people were telling me, why don't we involve in the media so that First of all, we raised some money for her medication and the awareness of domestic violence in Uganda. Then that's when media came into my life. And honestly, I don't regret helping Aisha Nabukera, but I regret my life being in the limelight. In the limelight, people will judge you without knowing you. There are things I read on the social media and I wonder, is this the Gashumba I know or there's another Gashumba? So to you guys watching me, never dream being in the limelight. There's nothing good in the limelight. You get it?
So that cup launched you into the limelight?
Yes, actually another thing that pushed me to the limelight, Barack Obama 2008. Nobody thought a black man can be a US president. But deep in me, I thought as long as you believe in yourself, everything is possible. So I supported Barack Obama. He won. 2011, we started an organization called Simoka Uganda. It's a mindset organization. Our projects are aimed at changing people's mindsets. That's when I entered into the media.
So do you regret being in the limelight?
Yes, there's nothing good in the limelight.
But give you a platform.
To do what? To do what? At the end of the
day,
at the end of the day, does being in limelight transferable into my bank statement? You may be known everywhere, and you are nobody. You get it? Now how should I term it? My mind now rotates much into capitalism. You get it? We are doing an interview here. It may go viral. But will you be sending some money on my account? No. You get it? If there was an opportunity, I would go back into the life I lived before Aisha Nabukera. Because I lived a good life. I dated those pretty young women, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris of those days. Because I would go anywhere. Nobody knew who I was. You get it?
I do.
They would get to know who I am after living with me for like a week or two. But now you enter place, Gashumba jabale ko bane jabale, ebavandime bali batya. You get it?
You have no privacy.
Actually, you people don't even know the 3% of me. You get it? But there is a lot of lies, blackmail, hate on the social media. You get it? So unless you have a thick skin, you don't even dare venture into the media.
Mr. Frank, how was the journey been of raising up children? A single parent, right? How was that journey been? Your dad, your mother to these children, how was that journey been?
Tough. If there's anything challenging on planet Earth, is parenting. You know, the easiest thing to be in Uganda or in the world is to be the president. Because the president has over 80 ministers, 100 presidential advisors, personal assistants. But with the family, you are alone. You get it? And with broken up marriages now, it's even worse. And challenges to do with money and income. My mother still lives in Masaka. How they call them? I'm forgetting it. Yali akolera waka bachita batya in English. I'm forgetting it. But now look at it. For example, your wife is her name is Linda. She works in MTN or Stanbic Bank or State House. She must leave your home at 8 to go and work. She returns at 5 or 6. You leave your house at 5:30. You return back at 10 p.m. So meaning our children are being raised by maids and TVs. It's very challenging if both parents work. And I would encourage all young women out there to work, because you never have economic independence unless you have your own money. So it's very challenging. Those days, if you had challenges with your son or your daughter, you would take this person to your brother, who happens to be his or her uncle, isn't it? Or an auntie. Now, aunties are competing with their children. You get it? The person you think would shape your son to be the best person this person would be, he does not wish him well. You get my point? That's the challenge we have now. Another thing, we no longer live like a community. In Masaka, we lived like a community. I knew each and every person that lived in our area. But where I live now, everyone has a storied building. They have wall fences. I'll give you an example. The area where I live, I don't even know children of my neighbors. I don't know them because the wall fence is up, there's barbed wire, there's military police, there are cameras, there are dogs, and there are amayembe na go wegalia wakao. You get it? Their children are driven in tinted cars. You get it? With bodyguards. I don't know. And
bragging at school, you know?
I swear before the name of living God, I don't know my neighbor's children. I don't know them. But our time, you would know each and every person. During our time, or our times, in the evening, it was football. You would hear noise. But where I live, I don't even hear children. Children as if they're in a cage. In the process, we are killing talents of our children. Because if we don't allow children to play football, to perform, to go and swim, to play netball, to play basketball, how will they discover their talents? You get it? Children can only discover their talents by actively participating into community activities. It's no more.
So Mr. Frank, this is a common question I've heard people ask themselves. Why is Mr. Frank married? What happened?
Who is asking now?
I'm asking on their behalf.
Okay, I'm going to marry.
You're going to marry?
Yes. Wow. I'm going to marry.
That could be breaking news.
Yes, I'm going to marry. But marriage is a private event. It's not a community project. Why would people be interested in when I should get married?
Because you're in the limelight. That's something I was telling you about.
I go into practicals in what they do themselves. So what I mean, my wife will be my wife. And I'm planning a small wedding of 20 people.
20 people?
Yes.
Wow, I should be among the 20.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's well.
So after my wedding, let me travel to Barbados or Maldives, spend a month with my wife. Because she's mine.
I know.
Yeah, my mother will be there, a few of my relatives will be there. That's it. And you guys might even get to know after a year.
Really?
Yes.
The bloggers we have here will give us...
There are no bloggers here. These are fake masters. If we had bloggers, they would even be knowing whom I'm dating now. These are masqueraders here. There is no serious journalism in Uganda. I'm telling you this. There's no. That's why you see Mwenda calls them, he calls it yellow journalism. You get it? And journalism ended with the Andrew Mwendas. People who do break stories and we wonder. The Ekomoloit, you remember this guy? He also worked in Monitor. Journalism in Uganda ended with them. You guys are jokers.
Okay, Mr.
And surprisingly, you have all the gadgets to get the information you need. You know Rugendo? Rugendo worked for Red Pepper. Rugendo started working with Monitor. He told me those days of theirs, he would go to Kachiri if there's a press conference or there's a breaking story. In Kachiri, he puts up each and every story on paper. He boards a taxi. He comes to Monitor to file a story. But now it's instant. You are in Kachiri, you can file a story for Al Jazeera. Do we see that? Why don't you ask yourself, why is it that viewership is declining day by day? For me, I no longer watch 9 p.m. news in Uganda. Watch what? People there faking accents, everything. I don't watch those.
They are not real.
No.
So Mr. Frank, why did you choose to marry now? What about the previous years? What happened like all these years? You've been a single man? Why?
Why? Who is asking now?
Jimmy Hanks is asking you.
With someone you're going to live for the rest of your life, you have to be very, very, very careful. You are not marrying a person, you are marrying a clan. This is someone you're going to see before you go to bed. This is someone you see. This is the first person you see when you wake up in the morning. So you have to be very, 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 very careful with someone you marry. A friend of mine who happens to be a judge tells me that in the last 5 years, 62% of marriages are divorcing. Does it make sense for Gashumba to have a massive wedding after 2 months and you guys will be asking me what happened? So with someone you're going to live, be careful. And for you ladies, you can even marry at 35 or 36. Meghan Markle remarried at what age? 36? There is no expiry date for marriage.
Anytime you can.
Yes, anytime you can.
So that's the reason. Simple as that.
Yes.
Now I thought maybe the kids first grow up.
No.
Okay.
I have, God has blessed me with independent kids, so who can take up decisions they want. Some decisions we must or we might guide them. You get it?
So are you a proud parent?
Huh?
Are you a proud parent?
I think so. I think so. Yes.
So we are seeing very many youth getting messed up.
Getting what?
Getting messed up.
Messed up how?
They are dying out of under funny circumstances.
Like?
One of my close friends, we grew up together, went to a bar, drank a lot, and the guy died the following morning. They found him dead. Very young.
But you think he died of alcohol? But mortuaries have existed for the last 1,000 years. People will die. There is no hospital on planet Earth that has no mortuary.
Yeah, that's true. But we're losing very many young men.
What I know, we are losing many young men to drugs.
Yes,
That one I know.
How can we?
I think we should have a campaign to tell children more the implications of taking drugs. And another thing I've realized now, I think we concentrated much on the girl child and we ignored the boy child. That's why all these hustlers in Kampala, they are young girls. Out of 10 youth you meet in Kampala, 7 serious hustlers are young girls. And I've seen it in restaurants. Go to restaurants, go to bars, you find young girls 5 or 10 having themselves drinks, buying themselves, you get it. And the opposite side, the opposite part of it, when you meet young boys in clubs, they would request for a beer from Gashumba. Girls don't do that. Go to Chiembe, go to Chiseka, go to Sauriako, go to these boutiques in Kampala. And actually, when you go to social media, you can hardly find those weird fights on social media. Usually it's men. Have you realized of recent, men are breaking the record of having shows to do with Lugambo. Lugambo was a monopoly for ladies. But now every show to do with Lugambo is done by men. You get it?
I do.
So I think government must revamp or must redirect the discussion to do with the youth. We concentrated on the young girl or the girl child so much, in the process we ignored the boy child. In the process, we have many useless fake masters on social media and everywhere. Yes.
So Mr. Frank, let me quote one of your words. Say that I believe in self-empowerment. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yes.
Have you been that change? Are you that change?
I think so. I think so. Be the world you want to see. If you want a clean Kampala, don't dispose of Kasasiro everywhere. You get it?
I think
now look at this scenario where young boys died at Freedom City. Children below the age of 15, what are they doing at Freedom City at midnight? It goes back to parents. You get it? I get out of my house and go with the children in a bar. That's the change I'm telling you. Be an example. Walk the talk.
I think I don't even think you're about 40 years.
Yes.
You could have lived probably part of your life on this planet Earth. Do you think that you've been that change? Do you think you've played your role?
Yeah, deep in me, I think I've done my Rubimbi. It's the public to judge if I've contributed to community. It's the public to judge. Yes, and to God might be there looking at me with bitter eyes that I gave you a potential of contributing 80%. You're only contributing 5%. One day I called with a friend of mine who happens to be a lawyer. I know his potential. I said, you man, you are misusing your talent. He said, Frank, can you say that to me? I said, yes. I know what you can do. The guy is too talented. But you give him an assignment and it will take him a year to complete it.
Are you satisfied within you? Like you've done your part.
Of course, there are many things I would
Look back and see where you are today. Are you satisfied?
I think that's a very tricky question. There are many things I think I would have done better. If God gave me an opportunity to be at the age of 1, there are things I would do better than what I'm doing now. For example, I developed a culture of reading after the age of 35. And actually, it's Andrew Mwenda who inspired me to read. One day I visited him at his residence in Makerere. It was unbelievable. The guy had a full-fledged library. Now I read 30 pages every day, Monday to Friday.
Wow. You're trying to adopt.
Because you cannot disperse information unless you read. Now you guys in the media, do you guys have libraries?
No.
If I checked your iPhone or Samsung, it will give me the most viewed sites. Am I telling a lie?
You're not disabled, sir.
A Samsung will even tell me what are the sites I visit most, what are the applications I use most. You get it?
I do.
Now they're on TikTok, everywhere.
So, do you have regrets in life?
Yes,
You can give us a if you don't mind.
I gave a lot of time to these opposition opportunists. Successfully, they have turned out to be lumpeners and vampires. You get it?
Vampire. That's a
Vampires
very
and
big word.
lumpeners.
It's a very big word.
Yes. To fight a fair struggle. I gave a lot of time opposition politics. We thought these are messiahs. Kumbe they are hyenas. They were looking at an opportunity to grab at the national cake. But
They never got a chance of leading. Maybe they never got a chance.
no. Gandhi, you know, Gandhi of India made a state. He was invited to a party organized by the opposition there. And the level of extravagance, it was unbelievable. And he said, hey, if you people can behave in such a manner when you're still in the opposition, what will happen when you guys grab power? So God will always test us with small things and see. You get it? Yes.
As wind up this show, what are your best moments in life? So far.
My best moments in life, I think the day I interact with children. I like children because they're innocent. Yes.
You love children, in fact.
So much. They are innocent. These are innocent souls. My happiest day is the day I would spend with the children.
Wow.
You get it?
So waiting for your grandkid, right? I think you'll be staying with your grandkid one day.
Let me tell you, I don't think, but grandparents are very good at not bringing up children well. You know, they have that sympathy. Because I remember one day my father came to our home. I think there's something Sheila did, and I backed at her. And my father said, and I said, what? Is you saying this? The father, we knew that he was a certified dictator. I wondered. One evening I drove back home. I found my grandfather plaiting Sheila's hair. Ningamba, things can change. Our father was tough. You people. My God. Up to now, nobody sits in his chairs. One he left in the living room, one at the dining table. Nobody can sit in it. That's how tough they were.
The chair is like for a king.
I can tell you, nobody. The only person whom I see sometimes she smuggles herself and sits in it is my mother. None of his children can even sit in it.
Oh my Lord.
Ours was a certified one. Forget this I hear. I don't recall ever seeing my father pampering my mother, darling, I love you. How? Now, and the question is, our parents who never pampered our mothers. My mother, she has been married for the last 50 years. For you guys who pamper your girlfriends, hi darling, I love you, I miss you, can I send you lunch? Send them cafe javas, whatever, KFC. Who has lived a successful life? I love you, I miss you, my darling. Emoya will tell you that she loves you and she's in a lodge somewhere with another man. You get it?
There's no faithfulness.
No. That's why I always ask friends, there are many churches coming up. Are we better Christians or worse?
And we're seeing many breakups by the Mr. Frank Gashumba.
Can I tell you another thing?
Yes.
Studies are showing HIV is surviving a lot in married people. Where did they get HIV from? You guys married each other without HIV. They cheat. In Uganda, people cheat between 1/2 midday and 2:30. One of the companies I run owns a chain of, how they call them, lodges. You get it? But my boys tell me we make money between midday, 1/2 midday and 2:30. That's when married people go to those lodges. They will tell you have gone out for lunch. Kumbe, they are there sweating.
So do you believe in holy matrimony marriage?
Huh?
Holy matrimony.
Huh?
Holy matrimony.
Those are Bazungu things.
You don't believe in?
No, no. Our grandparents lived in Uganda. They lived a good life. They were happy. They had these rings. That's why for me, what I did, I went in Dubai Mall, bought myself a ring. This is
a
sign for what?
Someone.
To what?
It's a sign of marriage to someone.
If nobody is willing to give you a ring, give it yourself. Love yourself better than any other person. On Valentine's Day, if no one is sending you flowers, go to Garden City, buy a flower, give them your location, they should deliver it. Nobody will love you better than yourself.
The pastors
Which church?
In churches, they tell us to marry, to wed.
Which pastor? Is there a pastor I can believe in? I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian because I hail from a Catholic family. I don't care ever choosing to be a Catholic. Do you know Muslims are Muslims because they hail from Muslim families? Do you know that? We are Christians because Europeans came to Africa first. If the Chinese had come to Africa first, we'd be following their religion. False or truth? Mazima, niambie. So, my brother.
So, Mr. Frank, so for you don't believe in holy marriage?
I don't believe in it.
You think the pastors...
I can go for holy marriage for public relations. The way you go to the church. Because we can pray from here, isn't it? Museveni locked up this country for 2 years. Were you guys going to church? Did Uganda perish?
It didn't perish.
Let me ask you, Jesus yalina kereziya? Jesus yatambulanga bigere nga bulira enjiri.
Yatuleka mu dini yonna, all left in religion, that's the fact.
Thank you. Then I hear some people say, we own Jesus. Finally, let me tell you this. We are over 7.8 billion people living on planet Earth, right? If we proved that Christians are the right, Christianity is the right religion, Muslims will go to hell? Islam? No. If we prove that that Islam is the right religion, will Christians go to hell? What will take you to heaven if it's there?
It's your faith.
No. What you do privately to humanity. For me, the religion I follow is called Ubuntu. Ubuntu bulamu. There are things I don't do because I'm a Catholic, but the inner me. And if there is heaven, you are going to be shocked. People that you are going to see there, the Gashumbas. We are going to be there with Jesus, enjoying. And you guys will be there calling Gashumba Nyambanzi Jamugulunga. No, sooner time. Do you know why? Privately, we served humanity. The Nabukera you talked about.
Mr. Frank. So, Mr. Frank, you mean the pastors are misleading us?
Me? I have friends who are pastors. They are friends. My favorite pastor is Bujingo.
Talk about.
Do you know why? He's a Muvandima like me, and he speaks the truth. I listen to Bujingo. Why? His injiri, his gospel rotates on transforming people's lives. Bujingo will tell you something you don't want to hear, but it's the reality.
Do you think what he did was correct?
What?
Leaving the other marriage and getting...
Yes.
Was it right?
Ask me why.
Why?
If a marriage is not working out, instead of killing yourselves, abusing each other before children, separate.
But the public judges.
Which public? Which public?
They feel like you went against the Christian.
Who tells you that the public is right? You remember the genocide in Rwanda?
I do.
12% people in Rwanda are Tutsis, right? The rest are Hutus. If there was a referendum to do with the genocide, it would have passed because the Hutus are 83%. Don't believe in the public because the public is saying this is right. You should always follow the public when you are exiting a stadium.
People feel like what Pastor Bujingo did.
Which people? Let God judge Bujingo.
Believers feel like he would have...
Let me tell you, I know pastors who have four wives. Bujingo parted with Teddy and he moved on with Susan. I know pastors abaina bakazi abana. I know pastors... Preaching? Jesus. Baina na apartment simuno. Nina pastor gwemanyi aina 15 billion on fixed account deposit. In his personal name. Ngataina na kakiosi katunda mandazi. Ezo sende zivawa. You are should come in on these pastors. The way they tax ebivulu, you are should even come on these pastors. URA bamwagala information ya pastor njagimuwa ababuulire sente zino yazifuna atya. You get it? By the way, I'm not a fool for Jesus. Do you know what a fool for Jesus is? Anybody who believes what a pastor tells him or her. Me, Gashumba, you call me Endiga. Me. In all animals, you call Gashumba Endiga. Lwaki tompita mpologoma? Oba leopard. Me. A sheep. Endiga singa obusiru. Oh, not me. No way.
In the house of God.
I'm humble before God and I'm humble before the president because the president represents God in Uganda.
So do you give tithe?
No. Me, Gashumba. Tithe. Never. Even if I dated a woman and she gives the tithe, we are going to divorce.
But it's biblical, Mr. Frank.
Biblical, that's a Bible. The Bible has existed for 2,000 years, right? Were my grandparents consulted when they were writing that Bible? I'm asking you, were my grandparents consulted when they're writing that Bible? Simple. Siwa kimu kya 10. Ekimu ekye-10 nkiwayo nga nyamba abanaku. Bye nkugambye from the start, giving to communities. You get it? Me, I give a pastor the tithe. He buys the latest Range Rover, 2022 series.
But you're blessing him.
Webale nnyo. God delegated me to help the needy, not the privileged. Do you know all those churches? They are into these pastors' names. Do you know one pastor can turn a church into governor? And all sinners, certified sinners and criminals, you find them in those churches. If churches are doing well, why is it that crime is shooting up? Like about 31st, you come, there's a special touch, and you enter 2023 with blessing. Nonsense. Me, I can't. I was in my bed.
You can't tolerate that kind of...
Nonsense, no way. I'm a Catholic. I go to church every Sunday, period. Go back home.
That's great.
Yes.
Let's wind up this show, Mr. Frank. What are some of the things God has done for you? You look back and say, well, no.
Life. Let me tell you, last year, my friend Jacob Bolanya died. My friend General Okech, Archbishop Chiruwanga. The other year, my friend Sheikh Nuk Muzat, and my father, my favorite, died in 2019. As long as I'm still alive, that's the most important gift. Sometimes I meet my OBs and OGs and I wonder, are these guys 90-year-olds? The rest God will give them to us as long as we're still alive. I've lost friends. COVID took my friends. As I'm doing this interview now, I have 3 friends. One is in Mulago, another one in Mengo, another one in Zambia Hospital. How do we thank God for what we are? By being alive. Nze sina bulwadde bwonna. Bwonna ndi mulamu. Challenges nzina like any other person amabanja n'ebirala. Naye ndi mulamu kisinga obukulu. Kwate n'ekirungi twetegekera muganda waffe ajja for the presidency, General MK. Kakati nange ngenda kubeera nange neyagala envuge ku moloka enamba emyufu n'amafuta ye.
Ogenda beera vice president.
Simanyi. Nange nyina okweyagala ngenda politics gwe twagenzemu abanyankole b'e Bushenyi. Bo bawagira buli gavumenti eriwo ne beeyagala.
They're also waiting for this one. Uganda Museum. Seriously.
21st we are in Sebei. The official launch. Our walk to State House starts from Sebei. Long walk to State House starts from Sebei on the 21st. You think I don't qualify?
You do qualify. You've done your part.
Yes. So I have to be alive and see MK swearing in as the president. Yes.
After the father.
Yes.
You support the father.
I loved Museveni up to 2001.
How do you connect? Like, you have the son, you believe in the son or the father. That's amazing, right?
Believe in what? I believed in Museveni for some time. I no longer believe in him.
But you feel like General Muhoozi?
Yes. There are many things I share with Muhoozi that I can't tell you. One of them, I need the discipline, I need the sanity to return.
Actually, people wonder, why Mr. Frank Gashumba coming out of the main, proudly support?
Yes. I've had a series of conversations with him. I know how he thinks. He needs sanity to return to Uganda. The laws must be implemented. This business, everyone drives the way they want. There is no sanity. On Entebbe Express Highway, you find someone on a border loading a cow. On a border in the middle of the road. Uganda, it's mirembe.
You feel it's the right time for Muhoozi?
Yes. We pray that the commander-in-chief, who happens to be the Sabarwanyi, discharges him from the military. So that our lion in the cage swallows those rabbits I see masquerading in Kampala.
But the rest, I think, will be a very tight one. I'm seeing other young men
like who?
threatening.
Like who?
When
we are discussing in a meeting of lions, rabbits, don't talk, please. That's an insult to compare Kyagulanyi with Mohozi. Please, that's an insult of the highest level. It's like discussing Burundi and the US. Please, it's an insult.
Mr. Frank, an amazing gentleman.
Yes.
I'll stop there, Mr. Muhoozi.
General MK.
General MK.
The Lion of Uganda.
Mr. Frank, let's wait and see how you'll be there being driven also.
With lead cars, enjoying also. We must also enjoy. People have enjoyed this country.
Or you want to be like Moses. After leading people from Egypt, about to the promised land, the man didn't cross the promised land.
Let me tell you, when you're about 45, there are things you have to do. You get it. But we need a better Uganda for our grandchildren and children. The Uganda I see today, we are worried. Where are we leaving our children? Yeah. In a country where ambulances don't have a right of way and the ministers have a right of way. An ambulance where a fire truck cannot maneuver through a street. Is that the country we want to leave our children in? In a country where this friend of mine who is in Mulago, initially he was supposed to be taken to Nakasero Hospital and they wanted 20 million. How many Ugandans can raise 20 million? We need hospitals that treat our children. We need schools that teach our children. We need to motivate police officers, armed officers, prisons officers, so that they serve Uganda with morale. Yes.
Mr. Frank, whom do you attribute your success to?
My grandmother, Sarafina Mukandang. Yes.
What about God?
God? And by the way, if you cannot respect your parents, you cannot respect God. Why would I appreciate God I've never met? And leave my Sarafina that I saw.
But you believe God is there?
Yes, 1,000 times He owned this universe. But the official representative of God in our family is my mother and my father. Before them, they were our grandparents. A certified Muvandimwe.
Wow. Yeah. About the Muvandimwe, how is the Muvandimwe family moving on?
That one we need another day. We are doing well. We are one thing I should tell you, we are over 11 million in Uganda.
You want to be meeting up. Where do you meet from?
You want to come and smuggle our secrets? We first do a DNA on you and confirm that you are one of us. And by the way, it's us to determine who is the next president. That we are 11 million. If 6 million turned up to vote, that's enough.
Gives you the confidence. So you feel like you can sustain.
Many of the things why I really like and support GNMK alone succeeded in restoring the relationship between Rwanda and Uganda.
It was him?
Yes. All ministers. No. All ambassadors, ministers tried and it had failed. Rwandans were not allowed to fly to Uganda and Ugandans would not fly to Rwanda. And our people were being arrested day by day on trumped-up charges. The mere fact that he worked with his friends, the few friends I know he worked with, and the relationship between Rwanda and Uganda is moving on well, I salute him.
Some say it was a plot. The people you planned it.
Which people?
The word people say.
Those busy eaters. Those busy eaters. Those are those.
We thank him so much for that.
It was not easy.
It was affecting our
people are being arrested day by day. If they found out that you were calling Rwanda more than 5 times in a month, they would pick you and ask you, whom are you calling in Rwanda? I have friends in Uganda who had secured SIM cards from Kenya. They would use a Kenyan number to call Rwanda. You get it? That's how hard it was. But now Rwandans fly to Uganda, we fly to Kigali.
I've been to Rwanda twice.
So how do we reward him? By electing him an LC1 chairman? No.
As His Excellency, the President.
Pronounce it again. His Excellency what?
The President of the Republic of Uganda.
Who?
General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
Close your show.
Thank you very much. Give us your last remarks and your hobbies.
Believe in yourselves. Don't give up on your life. Nobody write your destiny. Your destiny must be written by you.
I know. What are your hobbies? What do you do free time?
I like tennis. I work out a lot. You get it? On TV I watch documentaries. Real things, not friction. Someone jumping out of that building, then he drives a car. No.
You want reality?
Yes.
Oh my Lord. Mr. Frank, an amazing gesture. Thank you very much for
Carly, stay well.
The love is so much.
Thank you.
Having you. We
Thank
have
you.
really talked over and over, but we shall get episode 2 of Mr. Frank Gashumba.
In the name of Jesus.
Amen. You love God, I can see, right?
Yes.
Thank you for loving God. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you all on this show. Thanks for watching just from the beginning till the end. I've been Jimmy Hanks, your host.
What does Hanks mean?
Hanks.
Do you don't have an African name?
My African name is Gashumba.
Why don't you use it?
I love it so much.
Have you ever met a Muzungu called Akasemezi? You are here, I'm Jimmy, I'm Francis, I'm Peter. If I had an opportunity, by the way, my kids, I'm not giving them these Christian names. We want names like Kabalega, Mwanga, Madiba. You get it? Come see me, Jimmy Hanks. Have you met a Muzungu called Kaguta? Have you met a Muzungu called Kaguta?
I've not, sir.
Be proud of being Africans. If you want me to be my friend, call me Gashumba. Gashumba Malingumu. Malingumu is our great grandfather. You get it?
Yes. But it's a stage name, Mr. People have stage names.
Hey, brand yourself. You mean Sheila, it was impossible for her to get another name for stage?
By the way.
I'm asking you, you mean it was impossible? But everyone knows Sheila Gashumba. Our spirits are happy that the grandchildren are disorganizing Uganda. You get it?
They are disorganizing.
Yes, our grandparents must be happy where they are. You get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't Jimmy.